Hi, everyone, and welcome to Real Life Talks. I'm your host, Yvonne Heath, author of the book Love Your Life to Death and founder of the I Just Showed Up movement. So I am just so delighted to have as my guest today my lovely friend, Jody North. Jody, we met years ago, was the program coordinator for Victim Services Muskoka for many, many years, and has embarked on a new endeavor that I'm going to just let her tell you about, but something I'm so passionate about. We are kindred spirits. Jody's very passionate about mental health, mental wellness, our conversations are always so rich, and we just care so deeply. And welcome to the show, Jody. First and foremost, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well today, just coming out of a really relaxing, wonderful weekend outdoors. So recharged and ready to go.
Well, and isn't that so important? Because that is, again, something we're both passionate about. The professionals who care so much about others sometimes forget, right? Those little words, self-care and the outdoors, to me, that just is what feeds my soul. And there's nothing more important than those who are serving and helping others to take really good care of themselves. So
yes, absolutely. Yeah, we've got to understand our own limitations and recognize when we're heading into stressed out and burnt out waters, and then get ourselves recharged. Very important to be a helper with that type of attitude.
Well, it's non-negotiable, right? Like if you really want to help clients or families or friends or whoever is in your circle that you care about, it really is non-negotiable. And, a lot of people said, we're both going to say, let's fire the martyr who, she does everything for everyone else. He's so wonderful. He always puts himself last.
Yeah.
No, let's reverse that. Right.
Yeah. Well, and what kind of an example are we setting to the people around us as helpers when we're hurting ourselves to help others, and we're telling them to take good care of themselves, and we're not doing the same? So it's about modeling too. We can't just talk the talk. We got to walk the walk.
Well, it's actually very hypocritical, and it is a disservice, right? Because leading by example is our greatest way to teach. So I love your philosophy. I love what you believe in. And you are just a fierce, I love you are driven by a need to help reduce suffering and improve functioning. I love that. And what does that mean to you, Jody?
I like to look at the way that I help very holistically. And I know that's a word that's thrown around a lot, as is self-care. There's a lot of terms that are used a lot, but when you really dig down, it just means that a person isn't one piece. So if you're looking at someone's mental wellness or how well they're doing in life, which is connected to their wellness, you got to look at the whole picture. So I think if I can be of help in someone's life in any way, professionally or otherwise, that allows them to reduce suffering in their world or do better day to day and feel like life is more complete for them, that's really what it's about,
I love that so much, because we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. The elephant's always here. So, I have to bring heart and humor to everything I speak to, because it's already serious enough. I have little toys here. I have my elephant, because in the hard conversations sometimes, and it's hard mentally, it's only hard mentally, physically, and emotionally. We need to remember to, grief and joy and our journey to mental wellness. It isn't like this journey and then happiness. Right? We can create moments of joy along the way, and that will help get us through.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. I don't know anyone whose life all kind of went like this. There's always that. You've got to expect there's going to be some waves, and some are going to be some deep dips, and just trying to get back up to whatever that healthy wave is really what it's all about. But yeah, we're all going to face crappy stuff.
That's life. It's just part of this journey. And then it makes the rich stuff, the good stuff, that much better, right? Like just that much better. So the first thing when, we talk about mental health, a lot of people talk about it, but what is mental health? What are we talking about when we say mental health?
Yeah. And we hear that mental health and mental wellness. Mm-hmm. The way that we break it down in the organization I'm working with, and when I'm out, especially working with young people, so under 30s, quite a bit of youth, is to say, if you're functioning day to day, well, if you're getting things accomplished, if your relationships feel good and you have relationships, then you're probably doing okay. If some of those things start to break down, if you're unable to control your emotions, if you don't have healthy relationships, or you're not seeing other people or interacting with other people, or you're not accomplishing something, something has gone awry. You're off track. And that's really what mental wellness is about. It isn't one little area. It's not easily defined by one package. You know, there isn't a pill that you take to be mentally well. It means are you well? Because your mental state is attached to everything, every aspect, your job, your relationships, your day-to-day life, how you're feeling, how you're sleeping. So for us, mental wellness is about that. When we look a little closer at mental health, then we can start to talk about the medical end of things. Mental health can be related to dispositions or conditions you may have inherited through your family bloodlines, through family, so inherited through your parents. Or mental health could be a chemical or biological imbalance that's just you inside your chemistry of your brain. And sometimes mental health is exacerbated by situation around you. So we look at biological and we look at situational, and how do those two intertwine? What's your situational world like right now? You love your job, your family's great, you've got healthy relationships, but you're still not doing well. So then we can start to look towards biological. So there really is two pieces that we like to kind of integrate when we talk about mental health, is what's going on in your world and then what's going on in your body. And that's how we break it down.
Right. So as we anticipate the glitches in life, my dog just about tripped over my leg because that's life, right? That life can be messy. I just love the way you look at mental health, mental wellness, the wholeness of it. And, you know, it's so interesting being a nurse for 27 years and the last many years of interviewing hundreds of people. I just find it so interesting. I have to say that I don't get it when people think, do you really think you can go through your whole life and be physically well and not ever have a glitch and be in shape but have no maintenance of, right? Like you can't work out for 6 weeks and then you're in shape for life. And I don't think it's any different with our mental health and wellness. Of course, we're going to have situations that are overwhelming where we need family, friends, professionals. Of course, there's going to be glitches. I mean, that's life. And that leads me into this whole thing that I just don't get. Stigma.
Yeah.
Stigma.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Okay. So let's define, we hear that also. Let's define stigma.
Well, stigma is really when people attach assumptions to something. So in the case of mental health, we make a lot of assumptions. We think that when somebody is struggling mentally and we see the outward signs, which again, I should pause for a moment, because not all mentally unwell people have outward signs. People with big smiles on their face that are the life of the party can be the people who are struggling. But if we are expressing outward signs, people make assumptions. They jump to conclusions and they place labels, or they, talk about people in a negative fashion as though they have some control over this thing. And I like to equate it to diabetes. Mm-hmm. If you have someone in your life that has diabetes and they were born with it or developed it and they need insulin on a regular basis, nobody's blaming them for that. Nobody is saying, oh, you know what? If you were just a little stronger person or you did something a little bit different, you wouldn't have diabetes. But we do that to mental health. We assume a lot and we treat people poorly based on those assumptions. And that's where stigma comes from, is nobody wants to say, I have a mental health condition, because it's not treated the same as diabetes. You can say you have diabetes and people go, oh, that sucks. What can I do to accommodate you? Can I make alterations to your meal when you come to my house? Do we need to be careful with your exercise level? Everybody is very kind. But if you say, I have schizophrenia, or you have some sort of a diagnosable mental health issue, it's not treated with the same kindness everywhere. And stigma is born of that. Then people just clam up. They don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be judged, labeled, put in a category. They don't want people making assumptions about them. And I can understand that.
Oh, let's change that today, shall we? I am imploring people, I am begging people. It is not our job to judge. It is not our job to fix. You don't have to understand it. You don't need a PhD. Kindness, and we are all so capable of kindness on someone's mental health journey, physical health journey, whatever it may be, if you can see it as no different, then I love that analogy, than diabetes. And, you know, if someone says, oh, they're faking it. Yeah, right. Again, the elephant in the room. Oh, they're faking it. They're fine. Yeah. If someone is actually pretending, you think they're pretending that they have a mental health issue, don't you think that in itself
shows that they're unwell?
Shows that they need help.
Something is going on. Yeah, it's nobody chooses to have a miserable existence. You have to believe that at the core of all human beings, we all want the same things. We want good health, we want love in our lives, we want laughter in our lives, and we want to hopefully live for a good long life to enjoy those things. So to think that someone wakes up in the morning and decides to live in misery is crap, to be blunt.
It is crap.
Crap. Yeah, so there's always something underlying that, and whether it is a mental health issue or whether, and again, remember, there's situational mental health and there's diagnosable biological mental health, and they're all part of your mental wellness. So if someone is, you know, struggling, then we need to validate them, because it's not our job to start deciding which is legitimate. You know, oh, your situation's not that bad. Oh, did you live in it? Like, or did you have their childhood, or did you come from where they come from? Do you face their whatever day-to-day stuff? So we need to stop judging and start validating.
Absolutely. And that is why, again, I am an open book with my own life. And years ago, when our son went down a very dangerous road of drugs and addiction, I could feel the judgment from people. I could feel it. And I thought, wow, you know, I know that our son comes from a good home. You know, it's not like it just happens over there. I know that he has good friends. And this happened. This happened in our family. And I am the first to also say that, how ironic, just before this show, which, you know, I didn't really plan it, Jody, but I reached out to you because I was in crisis, in a situational crisis. And, you know, you are the expert in your own journey. And when you really check in and say, I need a bit of help here, or I need a lot of help here. And I just got on that phone and I called you. And I was I just feel so sad for people who will not make those calls because they're afraid to be judged. I just say, go ahead and judge me now. I think it is the most courageous thing to reach out, and shows tremendous strength, and say, I am struggling right now. And I can honestly say I will be forever grateful for your kindness and compassion and guidance, right? Like you helped me navigate a road. Yeah. And that's what you are so passionate about. There's no judgment. No. There's no, it's all about humility on both ends, right? And just being real. And I don't have a script I go by. There isn't a specific qualification to help others. What I have is some knowledge of what's around, you know, what services are out there. Who do they work for? Who qualifies for them? Of course, I'm going to share that. And then the extra piece of that is, I remember our conversation and I shared some of my personal experiences, and it's very human to share and to build on each other's experiences and prop each other up. And if that means I got to share a tale of mine to make someone feel more at home because their tale's not such a good one either, is that not just being a kind human being to others? It's extraordinary. It is extraordinary, and shows your own vulnerability, challenge, because I believe that a lot of times people who are struggling, they're looking at your perfect life, or they're looking at, wow, you know, and I've been told that, like, oh, you know, you created this Love Your Life, this movement, the I Just Showed Up movement, and your kids are doing great and everything. And I said, yes, we are now. Trust me, we have been in the deep trenches of grief and strife and mental health stress and anxiety and overwhelming insecurity. We've had all that. So yes, it's not, you know, when you look at the perfect family and everything,
there's no such thing. I haven't met one yet. I've met a lot of people. I have yet to meet the perfect family. Everybody's got a story, and everybody's got a relative or a loved one, or, you know, that is the shared human experience. And I like when you were talking earlier about you wouldn't really enjoy the good parts if there weren't those low parts. And I feel like a lot of people who are in the helping world have experienced some of those low bits. And that is the drive for us to help other people get back out of them. Because you know, we succeeded a couple times when we hit a low point. We went, oh, this is the path back out. So why not help other people find that path back out too? And you don't know when you're going to get hit by another one, or when something awful is going to happen in your world, and nobody's immune. I mean, I'd reach out for help too. I have many times in my life reached out for help. Nobody has all the answers, but it doesn't hurt to ask. And it's all about learning how to better cope with the next one, you know?
Absolutely. And, you know, if there's something I could teach everyone, I wish I could have my gift of humility and say, I have no problem saying, I am struggling right now. I need a counselor, a therapist. I need help. If somebody, you know, the polite conversation that people have, hi, how are you? I'm fine, thanks. You need anything, let me know. And it's all, as your word, Jody, crap.
Yep.
They're pretending. I'm so over that. And I would just encourage everyone we don't need to pretend, you know, and we need to just show up for ourselves first. And for everyone around, you don't need a PhD to be a part of your friends, your family, someone you care about, a part of their journey.
Yep.
You don't just need a therapist or a counselor, even if they do. We need our whole village and community, especially now.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my goodness. The world has changed so much. And I try to concentrate, not that I'm trying to make lemonade, but I am to an extent, when I see families before on my road who've never done a lot of outdoor activities. And for the last year, they've like built campfire pits and obstacle courses, and they're out with the dog, and they've lived there forever. And I've never really seen them spend time outdoors. And I have folks in my life that are asking, like, how do I find edible plants in the forest for the first time? And so there's all these beautiful things that come from adversity. There's a lot of connections. I know we're all feeling disconnected, but we're connecting in other ways. You know, we're finding other ways to ground ourselves. And those are the beautiful things that are coming out of this. And there is a lot of them. And I don't want to minimalize the pain, because COVID is painful. Like there is relationships that are hurting. There are human beings who are suffering tremendously. And for anybody, we're finding at MindAid, for anybody who had a pre-existing struggle, COVID has amplified it. Yes. So, I mean, it isn't necessarily creating mental illness, although in some it may be, but anyone who has any predispositions to depression or anxiety, those things are just amplified and pushing people over the edge. People who are already at their limit because of a lack of healthcare service for mental health that's out there overall. The waiting lists are too long. They were too long before COVID. Now they're insanely too long. So
oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're at a bit of a breaking point when it comes to that sort of stuff. Something's got to give.
Something's got to give. And so I do want you to talk about, I love your sign back there, MindAid, and I want you to share what that's all about. But I feel like that is a call really for the rest of community, you know, all of us, to really step up with our just showing up, our kindness, our really taking our blinders off, to checking with your neighbors, checking in to see how people are doing, texting more, just show up for just one more. What can you do? Because when you are struggling, I encourage you to get help. And you, like, there's times where I'm like, I'm out today. I'm not shining my light for anyone. My light's very dim today. I just need some me time. I'm having a little pity party here. 16-year-old twins at home who are so tired of seeing their parents, let's be honest. And when you do have the strength to just show up for others and to shine your light, please shine it and check in with others. And I know that's part of what I can't imagine how busy you are right now. Tell us about MindAid and what MindAid, how it started and what it's all about.
Yeah, well, we are here literally when people don't know what to do. So to put it very commonly or plainly, if someone knows something is wrong, and we were talking before about if you're not functioning well, if your emotions are out of control, if your relationships are suffering, if you're not accomplishing things, and you would normally know how to get back on track. And we all kind of learn that. That's what self-care is, that term that's thrown around a lot, is just understanding your own limits, knowing when you're going off track, and then building up a great toolbox for getting yourself back on track. And that might mean reconnecting with an old friend. It might mean going for a walk in the woods. It might mean a bath. It might mean reading a book. If you've tried all your tried and true methods of trying to get back on track and they're not working, and you waited and they're not working, and you're like, okay, I need to do something else. That's what we're there for. So you can reach out to MindAid, and you can do it through the website. We have like a contact us button. You can do it over the phone. We have a 1-800 number. You can email us. And our job is just to get to know your kind of flavor of struggle. You know, what is it that's going on in your world? Where are the challenges? What are you up against? What have you tried already? So it's a conversation is where it starts, is like, you know, if you tell me you've tried 3 different services before and they weren't the right fit, then I know, okay, well, we won't look at those. Let's look at some of these other options that might be out there that might be of help to you. So we find things that exist in the community or online or outside of the community that serve folks in Muskoka, people under the age of 30. And I say that lightly because we have had a fair number of people that are over 30. I'm not going to give away your age, but we have had some people reach out to us. We don't care. We're going to help you either way. Our main focus, where we invest most of our time, is younger folks, but we know what's out there. So call us when in doubt. And then we don't make any decisions. We don't sign you up. We don't charge you money. You don't have X number of sessions. You don't have X number of time to decide. There's no expiry date. When you're ready, we will give you a menu of options that we're aware of. We'll explain to you which ones come with a fee attached, which ones are free. If you don't have the money and one of them costs money, we'll tell you where there might be some funding pockets that would apply to your situation. So we just problem solve alongside you. We consider ourselves a travel agent for your journey to mental wellness. So we just help you figure out where you want to go, and we know how to get there, and then it's up to you. And if you say, you know what, actually, since we started talking, just venting a little bit, I'm starting to feel okay, and I think I can get back on track, great. If not, and you're like, let's do this, then we start to help getting you connected to whatever those things are that you choose from that menu of options. And the end goal is to get you back on track. And if there is something like a biological mental illness involved, and it isn't just situational things or you know, type of fix that you can work on in your own, and you need medical intervention, we can tell you how to do that too. We can tell you where to start, who to reach out to, how to get those referrals and get you diagnosed so that those health conditions that need maybe medication or medical intervention can be helped too. So we're not clinicians. We don't do any of the clinical work. We're just problem solvers who happen to know what's out there.
Well, and I just think that's so extraordinary. And honestly, again, being a nurse, doing all the things I've done, I was on speed dial for addiction outreach many years ago. It didn't matter. With the situation I was in, I didn't know how to navigate it. I wasn't sure. So what would be, I see this as another tremendous resource, because CAMH, Canadian Mental Health Association, right? They also are people. So because people also live in other areas, so they don't, MindAid is Muskoka. They need a MindAid in every community.
Yeah, they do. We do need mental health navigation in every community. And some of the bigger city centers, like the Eastern Ontario out of Chio, there's the PLEO, it's called, and it helps families navigate. PLEO out of Chio. And then we have the Family Navigation Project out of Sunnybrook in Toronto. So when you go to larger communities, generally there's more resources.
Right.
Population's higher, so the demand's higher, so it usually happens faster. So we are seeing mental health navigation out there, but the smaller communities are usually the ones doing catch up. So yes, we do need this in every community, this type of thing. Yeah.
So like, what about Simcoe? Because, you know, since the show's in Simcoe, do they have somewhere?
They don't have a specific navigation group. Like, that's all we do. We're just mental health navigation for young people. They don't have a specific group that just does that, but they do. I just heard fairly recently that Simcoe, what is it called? Catholic Family Services. Sorry, I glitched there. Those folks just hired on a system navigator as part of the services that they provide. So sometimes you can find a system navigator embedded in an already existing service, which works too. As long as they're aware of what's out there, it doesn't really matter who's employing them. Just you need somebody who has that knowledge of what steps to take and where to begin. So yes.
Well, and I love your website, and I would encourage anyone. It's mymindaid.com. Is that correct? Did I say that right?
You can hit it at MindAid Muskoka as well. There's a few
Yes.
different pathways to it. So MindAid Muskoka is probably easier to understand or to remember for the area.
Yes.
But yeah, and the website's not complicated. We don't list 500 resources on there that you've got to figure out what they do. It just kind of tells you how we do things. And we're a very warm service. We're not a big organization. There's only 2 of us that work as navigators for MindAid. So you're either going to get me or you're going to get Desiree, my partner. We always work together on cases when they're tough ones and we really need to put our heads together. And I can guarantee you, we will work hard to figure things out as best we can for you. No guarantees, but we're going to try.
And you do so professionally, but also with like that human kindness that is so needed when people feel so vulnerable. And when I encourage anyone, even if you're not in Muskoka, to go to the website because there's tremendous information there and some key statistics. And the one that just hurt my heart, many of them did actually, but that 63% of youth point to stigma as the most likely reason not to seek help.
Yep.
And my very strong message is, again, reaching out for help when you are struggling mentally, physically, emotionally takes tremendous strength and courage.
Yep.
Right.
And let's open up. Let's pull the curtains back. Let's share our experiences with each other. Let's expose our vulnerabilities to give other people the strength to do the same. We're all just human. Nobody's perfect. So, keep sharing, keep being open. And we have actually tonight, coincidentally, at 7:00 tonight, we have an ongoing conversation online that we've started with some young people where we just open up a Zoom call and we all start talking and we talk about wherever the conversation leads. And it's great.
And that's super exciting. And I mean, they can always go to the website or Facebook because there'll be more of those conversations. So whenever they see this episode, then they can just check and say, oh, there's another conversation.
Yeah, because it keeps going, ongoing conversation. Yes. And that's the key. We just got to keep talking about it till we're all sick of hearing about it to a point where we don't mind talking about it anymore.
Well, and again, it is literally just part of the human experience and taking good care of ourselves and each other. And so, Jody, I knew this would fly by. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you do to help people on their journey through to mental wellness. And always remember to take great care of you because you're amazing.
You too. I'll right back at you, all of it.
Thank you so much. So thanks for joining us today. Real Life Talks is about learning how to just show up for yourself first and just show up for others. And I encourage you, if you are feeling strong and you are able to shine your light, do so. If you need help, reach out. It is the most extraordinary thing you can do for yourself. Lead by example. So just show up for yourself and just show up for others. And always bring your own tambourine to the party. Bye for now.